Cast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday week. Yes, this is not Dan Fudge's voice. He is locked away for a few weeks. Not literally. He's just on holiday. No, he's not. Cancelled. What he does on Twitter has not been cancelled. That's right. Yeah. Welcome. And this week I'm joined by Stevie, Blair and John. We're here to dissect, talk, investigate and anything we can think of with Friday's nightmare result, should I call it, I think, and everything else that's been happening in the last few days of Sheffield Wednesday. So, guys, good evening. How are we all?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Yourself?
Fantastic, John. Absolutely fantastic. Stevie?
How we doing, mate? You all right? Yeah?
Yeah, mate. I'm quite good. I'm all right. I'm better than Sheffield Wednesday, so that's all right. Can't be much worse, can we? Blair, are we all right?
I'm right good.
Right, good. Right. I'm not going to beat about the bush. I think we're going to get straight into it. Friday night, under the lights at Hillsborough, live on Sky. I think we were all optimistic, weren't we, lads? You know?
It was a banker, wasn't it? 3-point banker.
Banker, 3 points, like Blair says. So, where should we start? Go on. Who do I not like? Go on. We'll start with Stevie then. As soon as you put your hand up, Stevie. Right. Sunderland came to town. Obviously, they were in half decent bit of form. Sheffield Wednesday, not so much. What was your initial thoughts, mate?
Yeah, we're in that sort of that real downward spiral at the moment of negativity. And pessimism, and I think that's sort of endemic. I think it's important before we start talking about it, let's try and just treat Sunderland as a microcosm of the game, the team, the player, the manager, rather than talking about the bigger stuff that's going on around the club. Because if we do that, we can start pulling at threads left, right, and centre, can't we? So from my point of view, coming out of work on a Friday as you do, and I'm unlike one or two other people, I'm not so negative about a Friday night game. I've no issue with Sky TV coming to town because I think that puts money in the coffers, and we need that. And I see it as a Friday where you'll go meet your mates, you'll go get a bit of food. It's the start of the weekend, and it should be, when a game's competitive on a Friday night, should be setting yourself up for the weekend, shouldn't it? So I was all right with it. But the problem was we've just had 8 games as it was at the time of just abject disappointment, apathy. We're fed up with the performances. We're fed up with the team selection. I'm fed up with the manager. I'm fed up watching that formation where we don't look like scoring goals. We don't look like a threat. So you come to the next game and you're kind of thinking, right, what's next? What can we do differently? And the biggest issue that you've got at the minute is with that squad that we've got, there ain't a great deal that we can do that's any different. And it came to Friday. Sunderland coming to town. Dan did the hello from the other side last week, and I listened back to that and thought, these guys, free scoring, expressive, forward thinking. They're gonna get at it. And what are we gonna do? And there've been a couple of times where we've defended quite well in pockets. We defended well against Leeds. Keeper played well against Ipswich. So it was one of those where if we can set up and get off early with, get out the blocks early, and keep them quiet for half an hour, 40 minutes. We might get one on the break and at best sneak a goal on the counter and maybe get something out of the game. But that was all done by 8:05, weren't it?
That's it. You pick your team, you get your tactics right. You go right. I think it's well known for first 5-10 minutes. Don't concede early. Just well, for us, it would have been just weather a bit of good play pass to each other. Like you say, that lasted. What was it?
I think they scored on 8 minutes. And you know what? The thing that gets me is
we were 2-0 down at 8 minutes.
8 minutes for 2-0 down, wasn't it?
Sorry, forgive me. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 5 and 8.
It's all right. 5 and 8. You're right.
I was going to say, yeah. The thing is,
you idiot.
Certainly, me and you, Ash, have been group chatting, and we've been on here together for a while now. No disrespect to the two lads that joined a little bit later. You'd remember times at 2:00 where we'd all jump on and go, right, what team is it? I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with that. I think this. I think that. And even on our chat now, all of that's gone. And we for whatever reason, we don't even comment on the team anymore because we're just that meh about everything. It's what's going to be different. Whatever happens, he's going to play somebody out of position. Gregory will play right side of a midfield. We've got a striker up top who's not going to score goals. We're unproven, untried, and untested sort of thing. So it's a little bit frustrating at times to get to that point where even though we don't know what team it is when the team comes out, we're not excited by anything, are we? We're not looking forward to it. It's shit. Let's just hold on and hope that we can get something out of the game.
Oh, I was going to say that. Obviously, like I say, I think every Wednesday night now looks at 2:00 comes up and they look at the phone and it's very rare. I would imagine that anyone could look at the team and go, I know what's going to happen. I know what he's going to pick. Do you know what I mean? And think, what do you think, John? When you picked your phone up at 2:00, obviously on your way to the ground or having your fifth pint or whatever you were doing, when you saw your phone and you look at it and go, so everyone listening, it was Vasquez. And they've got it down as a back three of Bernard, Diaby and Famewell. And then we've got 4 in the midfield, Valentin, Hendry, I can't even say his name, Byers and Patterson, Masaba, Gregory and Buckley. So what do you think, John, when you saw that?
I just think it's like he's throwing enough stuff at the wall, hoping something sticks, isn't it, really? And I think, you're still seeing players, in my opinion, that are better that aren't playing. Now, obviously, one's injured in Bannon, but Leo Palmer's still available for selection. Reece James, as we know, is frozen out. And again, we know all about Marvin Johnson. So you're thinking it's just the lottery of just pulling the balls out and just trying anything he can to try and get a team that can actually compete. Because we're not even competing, are we? That's the thing. We're not even competing right now. I mean, right, yeah. I was fearful of that game anyway because Sunderland have got quite a decent scoring record this season. And, obviously, if we go a goal behind, which we did very early, then we're up against it because we've not got any goal threat in the side whatsoever. So, effectively, I think most people thought that game was over after 8 minutes. I know I certainly did. I couldn't see a way back. So it's just going from bad to worse. The performances are getting worse, aren't they? I mean, It's just, what are we doing?
Blair, John mentioned there the obviously lack of goal threat we had, or have not got, should I say. And obviously 2:00 comes round and there were 2 names that were missing off the whole squad list was Bannon and Windass. So obviously the rumours start and people XYZ in and everything. And I think someone tweeted out that they'd seen him on the bridge signing autographs, Bannon this is. And he said he was out injured. So what did you make to that? Obviously, I know Bannon has been struggling a little bit, but I thought he was fit.
Blair, you're on mute.
Sorry, mate. But
yeah, we're not having that. Yes.
Who works in IT? Who works in IT?
The old team's call. The old team's call.
I was saying, like, we've missed out the positive. I mean, the first 3 minutes of the match was pretty decent, wasn't it? They actually got the ball down. They attacked down the right. It was quite enjoyable the first 3 minutes. But Dad texted me saying, "Are you there tonight?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, have a good game." I said, "Well, the first 3 minutes were all right." And just talk about that first goal. I mean, I will answer your question in a second, but that first goal, it was just self-inflicted, wasn't it? Like, it was a back pass by, I can't remember, someone back passed it to Vasquez, and instead of just booting upfield, he gave it to Byers, and then from where I was sat, I didn't even know how Byers get a foul away, because I thought he got fouled. Like, and
I think he like stretched for the ball, didn't he?
yeah, it was just weird. And then the resulting corner turned into a goal. It was just like, you just couldn't believe your eye, really. It was shell shock. I mean, in terms of Bannon being injured, he's been struggling all season, really, hasn't he? I think he was on injections against Cardiff, weren't he? And then he missed a game against Ipswich or Swansea, wasn't it? He missed a game for injury. Then he was back last week, weren't he? So he was back against Swansea, so it must have been the Ipswich game he missed. So he must be just carrying a recurring injury. He's getting old now, and he's 33. So
do you not find it strange that for everything that we're talking about in his injuries and he's played through them and so on and so forth, that all of a sudden now he's more injured? And
no, I mean,
what I'm saying is he's now been taken out of the game. The thing that I find strange about it all is that he's gone into, and this isn't me criticizing Bannon at all, out of everybody on this podcast, I revere him as much as anybody else. So I want to be clear, I'm not doubting the bloke or anything like that. What I'm saying is I find it strange that he's gone out, he's done the press duty the day off or the day before.
The rally cry, weren't it?
So in that situation, he's done the press, he's the captain, they've wheeled him out and he's done that rally cry and then nothing. And then the night game comes 24 hours later and he's not fit. Now, surely at some point, somebody somewhere asks a question in terms of what's the squad looking like? Nobody says anything. They say any injury concerns. Nobody says anything. The captain, who, if everything is to be believed, is struggling the day before, doesn't say anything. And then it comes to 7 o'clock when the team's announced, and there's no Bannon at all, and nobody says anything, and nobody comes out. If I'm right if what we're hearing is right, and he's then said on the bridge that he's not playing because he's injured when he's talking to members of the public. Yeah. How is it coming from him and going to the supporters? And again, this isn't me getting after Bannon. I'm asking the question.
Of course.
What's happened in this situation is out of character with what you'd normally expect.
Yeah.
You'd expect people to go.
He'd play on one leg, wouldn't
he? You'd expect people. You would. You'd expect people to go though. If somebody of Bannon's stature, if it had been, there's nobody else that's up there at the minute. Gregory, for example, you'd know that Gregory were injured beforehand, and he wouldn't be involved in the team. And there'd been rumours coming out. There'd been noises coming out of the club. It's also for parity, to throw a discussion point in there to play devil's advocate. There's nothing come out about the extent of the injury that Windass picked up as well.
No, nothing at all. It's not being mentioned.
Them two went to manager and said,
bit of radio silence.
Yeah. I mean, I just have to go out and apologise. I did say 2 o'clock, and obviously it was an evening kickoff, wasn't it? So apologies to everyone. I know they're all
the hour before.
The hour before the kickoff. I totally agree with you, Stevie. I really am. It is just the fact that he wheeled out at the press conference. He gave like a rallying cry, weren't it? With all the stuff, all the palaver that's happened in the last few weeks of off-field stuff with fans and
he even said he was behind the manager. I mean, he even went that far.
Well, but I would say that's the party line. He's not gonna sit there in a press conference and say anything different, is it? But yeah, it is just a plain weird situation that was, and obviously we'll never know. But if he is carrying something, then it's the right thing. There's one thing that you can't knock Bannon for over the last 6-7 years is whenever he's been available, he's played. or what I perceive is very rarely being injured, and very rarely not being picked. So for him now to, in the start of the season, what is it now, 9 games, missed 2 and carrying an injury already, for him, it's quite out of the ordinary. So there could be something behind what Steve is insinuating. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
once we get
And
to start talking about the statement, we'll get more into them sort of theories.
Just to sort of emphasize that, I find it strange that there's not been anything that has come out since. So forgive me. Friday night, you lose 3-0. You're 3-0 down after half an hour. The atmosphere was what it was. So the last thing I want to do on a Friday when I've got a heavy weekend is go, right, I'm going to spend the next 3-4 days delving into press conferences and statements and game analysis and so forth. So I didn't really listen. I didn't really listen to any
prep for this show. You don't do no prep for this show.
Right. Hey, you know me. But I've not heard anything, and I don't know if it's come out to say that there's anything official come to say that Bannon's injured for this length of time. This is the extent of the injury that he's got, or this is the injury that he's carrying, and we can expect him back on the pitch in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I think I've heard a rumor that it was international break. I think I'd seen that somewhere, but why nobody said anything?
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, I imagine if he doesn't, because he did it before, didn't he? When I think he missed a game, he said Bannon's injured, but I don't know what he's injured or how long he'll be out for. So you don't know. So back to the game. That obviously, like you said, 3-0 down after 32 minutes, I think it was. John, is that it? Was you out? Did you leave? Is that you done?
Spiritually, I left, but not physically. I mean,
you weren't even there at kickoff spiritually, were you?
I did. Yeah, I wasn't expecting much from the game. I did see some people leave after 3-0 actually, which says a lot. But I'm on the cop like. But yeah, it just didn't. We just didn't look like a side that. I mean, Jack Clark were allowed to run it as free as a whatever, and he just couldn't get near him, could we? And there's all this talk about he works them really hard on the training ground and they work more sessions than they might have done under previous managers, but you just don't really see it, do you, when it comes to game time, and defensive frailties raise their ugly head again, don't they? And as I said, with the goal problems that we've got, not scoring goals, being 1 down is enough, but being 3 down after half an hour, I mean, come on, it's game over, isn't it, really? So, but, I'm one of those fans that just, stay to the end. I think I've only ever left 1 game early, which was ironically when Forestieri used to play for Watford. They came up and beat us 4-0.
Oh, yeah. I was freezing that night.
You stayed for the Blackburn a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah. That was when Fudge brought his mates up, weren't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's some friends of mine, Blackburn fans. I'm like, hey, pal, give them all an handshake. Yeah, should be a good game today. We got thumped 5-0, didn't we? And, yeah,
it was.
Even then, I stayed to the end. But yeah, with the Sunderland, I did fear we did beat us quite convincingly. And I think, to be honest, they probably took the foot off the gas second half. They could have probably racked the score up 4-5-0 if they'd have wanted to.
Yeah,
it was like professional pity.
Yeah, well, it was. We had a shot in the first half. I think it was getting towards the end, and the keeper, it was going well wide. The keeper dived and tipped it round, and it was like a charity corner. Yeah, I'll just give him one.
Yeah.
It was going well wide. Yeah. He dived to his right, took it around, thought we'll give him a charity corner. But I mean, it was just like 11 strangers on the pitch. There was just nothing.
They were arguing with each other all game. No one knew where they were supposed to be. No one knew what they were doing. They were just honestly just arguing at each other's throats all game. There were no leadership on the pitch. It was just horrible to watch. It was just like, I mean, I left on 70 minutes. I didn't give a shit. I just thought, what was the point?
Not only that though, it was a horrible atmosphere. One of the worst I've been in for a long time. I mean, you got fans chanting for chairman out, chanting for manager out, cheering opposition passes. joining in with opposition's olays. It was just horrible.
Sacked in the
It
morning,
really was.
singing that to your manager.
Yeah, we had the plethora of all the songs, didn't we, that was going around the stadium. Obviously, there was a couple of times that obviously shouting for the chairman, owner to leave, the manager. It was just the toxic atmosphere. It really was. It's probably is it a stupid question this, and we'll get back to the game, but is it as bad as it can get without it being terminal, if you know what I mean? Because it's in that situation of the manager's there and he doesn't look like he's going anywhere for now. The owner's there, he ain't going anywhere for now, and the performances on the pitch are staying like they are for now.
Yeah,
and they're not. None of that looks like it's going to change. So
can I just give you what I thought Friday morning when that statement came out?
We'll get to that. This is the game. Blair, we are only going to spend 30 seconds on the statement, Blair. You know that, don't you?
There's nothing else to talk about this game.
Dude.
We're picking the bones out of this game.
No.
No.
I'm with you, Ash. I think the problem that we've got, I think there's a couple of things. First of all, we conceded against Ipswich a couple of weeks ago. I didn't watch the Swansea game. I was away. And thankfully, I only saw very brief highlights. But the Ipswich game, gone, sat, watched. First goal goes in, or the goal goes in. And I turned to my mate and I turned to my sister and I went, that's us done now. Game over. And it just feels like we're turning up for games at the minute. And if we concede first, that is it. So when we concede that goal at 8:05 on Friday night, the night was done. You know, so whatever you think beforehand in terms of the formation, the team, the expectation around the results or anything like, are we going to get anything out of the game? You can hope. You know, the most optimistic of us hope that something's going to happen, that we might scrape a draw or, you know, sneak a counter-attacking goal and win, or something happens where somebody drops a bollock on their side and, you know, you get something to hang on to. But at the minute, other than that, there is nothing. There's nothing to look forward to. There's no optimism. There's no positivity. The longer the season goes on, I'll be honest with you, I don't think necessarily that any of the players that have come in are any better than those that have been replaced. They've replaced. I cannot understand what even is half of these lads that have come in. And joking aside, I know that I take the piss out of Blair because Blair's very much, he's an international. He's played for this team. He's played with Messi. He's done this. He's got to be good because somebody wants. I get all of that. I totally do. But at the end of the day, barring flashes of 10 minutes here or 15 minutes there or whatever it may be, there's not one player that's come in that's shown me anything to make me think that we are better off squad-wise than we were in League One last year. It's not about. But the thing is, it's not about
old manager.
Let me finish. So what I'm saying here is, we can talk about him having a fair crack or not having a fair crack. The bottom line is the players that we brought in are no better. At the moment, we are worse off than we were last year. Circumstance may be what it is, and it may be because they've not had a fair crack. I'd ask why they've not had a fair crack. I'd ask what's going on. I'd ask who's signed the players, and we can. Yeah. There's a lot of conjecture around. Is it a Chisco signing? Is it a Chansiri signing? Is it an advisor signing? Because at the end of the day, we've scraped the barrel. Nobody, you know, for all intents and purposes, we're looking at signing players. Nobody wants to come and play for the club because we've got a batshit crazy chairman. We've got a manager that don't know his arse from his elbow. We've clearly got no money. We're bottom of the league with 2 points out of 27. You know, it's not. We're not an attractive proposition at the moment. And the problem is, you know, you're asking if it's as bad as it's ever been, or could it be any worse? I'm not sure how much worse it could get. Because I don't see where the next goal is coming from. Everybody rolled their eyes when Lyle Taylor got out that car the other week and he's walked in. Where the bloody hell's that bloke? Yeah. Where?
Well, he's not going to sign. What's happening there? Put any money in.
Yeah, he's not. No, yeah.
But this is what. But regardless, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. But before that statement was made on Friday, he'd been with us for better part of 2 weeks. Yeah. What's happening there?
On that, like the starting lineup, there's seven starters of the new signings that came in the summer. And then obviously we saw Gassama came on as well for a bit of a cameo, which a lot of people have been shouting for. Like he's not even been in the squads for the last 4 or 5 games. And then he's played and he came on. And for me, he looked all right. It's a hard one, isn't it? He's a young lad. He's coming into a horrible atmosphere, 3-0 down.
Playing out of position.
Playing out. Which
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know?
Oh,
Tell me how you know.
I left, so I didn't even see it.
Yeah, he put the
educated guess.
Yeah, the goalkeeper gloves fit him like a glove, and the top was a bit big for him. But
a great
save,
right. Didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, out of the new side, we'll stick a little bit with the new signings, John. Out of the new signings you've just seen, especially on Friday night, Vasquez, was he at fault for the first goal?
It's one of them, isn't it? We're determined, and we did it under Moore, aren't we? We're determined that's how we're going to play now. We're going to play it out from the back. We're not just going to launch it long unless it's absolutely necessary, which I think some fans will still always, have an issue with and not always accept. So I'm all right with it, but it's just one of them. Eventually, you're going to get closed down. You're not going to be quite quick enough. Mistakes are going to happen. So I think that the absolutely abysmal defending on the resulting corners is more of an issue, really, to be honest. You get a free header in like that, like I said, after all the supposed work on the training ground, it's just schoolboy stuff in it, just to leave a man unmarked like that. But by and large, I think Vasquez has been fine, hasn't he? I think he's been fine. He's had some good games, he's had some average games, but I think he's probably, in my eyes, is better than Dawson. And the other one standing out is probably Valentin, isn't it? Over the last, he's shown some flashing some ability, isn't he? And so probably them two, really. But I agree with what you're saying about these players coming in and not being as good as the ones that we already have, and the players that are frozen out or even on the bench. And I think if you look at that side coming up, then you want to add to that side, but to strengthen it, and the continuity of having the same players, giving them a crack in the Championship. I think Dan said it a few weeks back, didn't he? What does Michael Smith have to do to deserve his shot in the Championship? We know Reece James has played there with Blackpool before as well, and Marv has played there before as well. So just keep the settled side, but add bits of quality here and there that can push or be even better than what you've got. Don't just tear it up and throw it all to one side and just make a rash of signings, cheap, what seem to perceive to be cheap foreign imports that no one's really heard of. And right now, that's how they're looking, isn't it? Because they're not looking any better than what we've got. The young two, the Masaba and Gassama, maybe they could be something. And I know Josh Windass spoke highly of them, but they're in and out of the side. The young lads, aren't they? They're only going to get little cameos here and there for now, in a team that's rock bottom and is struggling for any kind of form and lacking goals. So I just think you just teared it up too quick. You should have just stuck with what you got and just added key pieces here and there.
Friday night, once again, we had 38% possession at home and 2 shots on target. Like, come on. Now, that is now probably, the 5th game on the trot? We've had probably less than 45%, I think it is. Now, home and away, that is ridiculous. Now, something for me has to change. If that's the way the manager's setting up, we were, like we've said before, we were under from 8.5 minutes. We're under 2-0. It's tough, isn't it? But like I said, I just personally think Sunderland did take the foot off. They got 3 goals in the first half, but in the whole game they only had 6 shots on target. So it's not like it was a training ground in the afternoon. In the second half, just passing it around, keep the ball. No silly mistakes, no injuries, no bookings. It was easy. They'd done all the hard work in 8 minutes. Now they got paid for 8 minutes work. The rest of the night off. So for me, clever work for me, I think. But that was it. 3-0 loss, Sunderland. It was.
Can I just make one more?
Yeah.
Can I just one more point before we move on?
Yeah.
I want to talk identity and I want to talk about playing style and personnel. And we've talked about the players that have come in. We've talked about, as John has just pointed out, the players that we have that have played at this level. You've mentioned that we had 7 new lads in. That's right, wasn't it? 7 new lads in that have come in on
11,
Friday in the starting 11. I don't think that Xisco knows what formation he wants to play. I don't think he knows who his best 11 is. I don't think.
Shit, Stevie. No shit.
And I know you're right. It's no surprise sort of thing. But there are a couple of things that I don't get, and I don't want to get after the big things. I don't want to get after the Johnson, James. That is what it is. And there are off the field things. There are clearly something going on there. Certainly with James that he don't fancy him. Johnson, and an interesting chat, my mate. And Johnson would be a player if we were playing on the front foot. Going forwards, you're not even about defending. But if we were setting up to go and be aggressive and try and go forwards and attack, he'd be a player that would be in that 11. But the way that we set up not to have the ball. We set up to play on the counter. We set up to defend. Yeah, and we have to accept. We accept that we're not going to see the ball. We play this random formation. We've talked through it off the BBC website where it's 3-4-3. I can't see 3 up top. It's 1 up top with 2 a bus stop away from or a bus ride away from that centre forward, whoever that may be. But then I'm looking at that back line of Bernard, Bambo, Firmino. I think Firmino is all right, but he's all right. And I know people will take the piss out of me for the Carlton Palmer, the Liam Palmer stuff. But he's very much in that sort of mould of he's not going to be outstanding, but he's going to be steady away and do a job. And I think of the players that are playing in that back line, he doesn't offend me at all. Whatever the formation, whether it be a 4 or a 3, as we've played this season, I don't have any issue with Firmino playing. Diaby, I don't get. I think he's shown flashes here and there, but he's not been consistent enough for any way, shape, or form. And I don't want to get after individuals, but Bernard, he was the one out of everybody that we'd signed in that back line, full back or centre half. He was the one that excited me the most, and he just didn't look bothered at all on Friday night. No. He didn't look fussed at all. So then I'm looking down the subs that are coming on, and you're seeing players warming up. You sit just behind me now. They're running up and down that touchline. I'm thinking, we've got this player, that player, the other player. Bambo goes down injured, and he puts on Liam Palmer and leaves Iorfa on the bench. And I'm thinking, is that right? So what you're saying to me there is that we've got a right back who can play centre half, and we've got a centre half who can play right back. And I think Iorfa's done all right, to be fair, this season. He's you compare him to everybody else that's playing or not playing at the moment. Iorfa's not offended me. No. But he's decided he's going to put Palmer on in front of him.
He shifted Bernard over, didn't he, into the centre?
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. He ain't got a clue. He's lost half at squad. Half at squad don't want to play for him, if not 3/4 at squad. I think the team that's putting out are the only ones who are actually listening to him.
So it's honestly, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm not even sure anybody else is listening to him. To be fair, I don't get his thought process there. I don't really understand. And the other thing that I worry about, for me, and I don't know about anybody else, I'm not saying I was a great player, but I've played in changing rooms. If you're 2-3-0 down at half time, what's the manager going to do at half time? He's going to go in, you're going to get a bollocking, he's going to drag 3 players, and he's going to put somebody else on. We were 3-0 down after half an hour. He's gone in at half time, and then in the second half, we played another 25 minutes before he's made a change.
Backs around, didn't
he? 73 minutes, he's put 2 players on.
Sunderland made a change at half time, didn't they? Made 1 sub at half time. We didn't anything like you say.
I even watched the warm up, the half time warm up, and Sunderland's players were all out there and they were doing these really intense drills. And then I think only like 4 of our lads are out there. So I thought, oh God, is he making 4 changes at half time or something? And
you know what
and they were like this. Go on, John.
But I'm just going to say, ironically, you know what the biggest cheer of the night was? Is when the guy scored in the half-time challenge, the dizzy thing.
He
actually scored, and the crowd were going, "We scored a goal! We scored a goal!" Which tells you everything, doesn't it?
And that was the story of Friday night in Sheffield. So we will definitely park that there. We will erase it from our memories because that is another game that I would say we turned up as fans, as we do, week in, week out, and the 11, well, not just the 11, everyone, the whole team didn't turn up, did they? Once again. So we're going to leave it there. Right. So Friday was pretty big on the football in front on the pitch. And Friday was pretty big off the footballing pitch in terms of Sheffield Wednesday. And as Stevie described him earlier, our batshit crazy chairman stroke owner. So if you have if you have been living under a rock the last few hours and days, you may have missed that our chairman thought it would be a great idea on the day of a match to release a statement. Now, I'm not going to bore you with it all. I'm sure everyone's read the 1,500 word essay that he put out on Friday morning, but I'll give you the opening bit. And I am not doing the damn fudge impression. Hello to all Sheffield Wednesday fans. I have thought about making this statement for some time, and it's extremely difficult for me to do something that I never thought I would have to do. But in the end, I think it is time to say some things that I feel I have to say before it's too late. Now that is a great opening sentence. What do we think, lads? Right. In fact, no. Stevie, John, I'm just going to wind Blair up and let him go. Everyone stand back. Blair's been chomping at this for a few days. Blair,
I have, actually.
What are your thoughts on the chairman's statement?
So what's really pissed me off about it is just how tone deaf it is as well. That's because over the past since the summer, I've been somewhat of I've sort of looked at the ticket prices and the transfer strategy, and the sacking of Darren Moore, or the mutual consent of Darren Moore, as a very from both sides of the fence sort of thing. And do you know what I mean? I can sit and I've almost tried to defend him in a way, of some of his decisions he's made. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's ticket price and that because of FFP rules and that sort of stuff. And then on Friday, when he released that, bear in mind, there's an upswell of anger towards the manager and towards him at the moment because things on the pitch are just going so badly. He thinks it's a good idea to release a statement of just sheer petulance of saying, if you say bad things about me, I'm just not going to put money into your football club anymore. And without my money, your football club's basically going to rot and die. And it's and he also said, I've only been owner of this football club for 8 years, but I love it just as much as you. And I just think, honestly, it's just completely crushed any morale, I think, of any fan going to the game on Friday night. A player is pretty much a mercenary. He's probably texting their agent saying, "Get me out of this club now," because he's just, do you know what I mean? It won't be a nice workplace to be under. He's just absolutely killing it. And if the only thing that's going to happen now is administration, and we're going to end up like Reading, or if we could end up like Bradford, we could end up being in League Two. If he don't leave, and you don't want to put any money in, that's it. It's game over.
I think he put in his statement, and quite rightly, that obviously he's quite rightly upset, angered by some of the abuse, vitriol that's aimed at his family, and obviously we condone all sorts of any sort of anger, social media bullying, anything like that towards anybody. So he's felt that obviously what's happened in the last few weeks has been a tipping point for him as an owner of the club. And that's where obviously he's said in that opening couple of sentences I said about that he didn't think he'd ever have to write this, and it's something he didn't want to do, but he's been pushed to it. But there's a way of doing a statement to obviously highlight that, and then he's just carried on writing and just exactly what you've just said, Blair, just tone-deaf statements in virtually every department that he's come up with. It is, for me, it's blackmail.
It is. gaslighting, blackmail, petulance. And like I said in the group chat earlier, like we probably got like 20,000 season ticket holders, and I split the difference to about £400 because people would have got early birds, people would have paid the higher rate. I mean, my season ticket was for £500. So that works out about 8 million. So I worked out roughly about £8 million before we made from season ticket sales. That's already in the account. So there's going to be no footfall now. No one's going to turn up on a weekend now. Like after that statement. So then you've got all the worrying thing is if you don't want to pay wages, is he not going to pay like admin, like, you know what I mean, non-playing staff? I don't just mean like managerial. I mean like the people who work in the offices, the people who work in the shop, ground staff,
Stewards.
all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
youth team, and it could just snowball. Because like the season ticket revenue, what's being generated, isn't enough to cover everything. So we do need his money. So if he doesn't put any money in, that's it. It's just literally going to rot. He's going to kill what we love.
So do you think the statement he did say he's not going to put any more money in? Do you think he means that as this £2 million shortfall every month that he's financing, that he believes that's what he said, he has to fork out, I believe, out of his own pocket? Or do you think he means that I'm not going to put in any more above that? So
yeah, I mean, that was
signing,
he did say additional, didn't he? He said additional money.
So, the 2 million a month is additional money.
Yeah,
it's out of his pocket, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's way he's probably said it, that whoever reads it has took it. Is it additional to the shortfall, or is it additional to just the day-to-day things?
Yeah, I'm not going to sign a striker in January. I'm not going to sack a manager because that's going to cost money. So Cisco's going nowhere, by the way, because he's not sacking him. Yeah. And if he does sack him, he's not going to hire a new manager. He'll just get the academy manager to just be the number one now. That'd be free.
John, what did you think to the statement? Are you on the same thoughts of obviously myself and Blair, and obviously we'll get Stevie's reaction when he's put his fire out at his house?
Yeah, of course.
Had enough. Molly's had enough. Burnt house.
That's it. This is fine. I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, before on the eve of a game, which we're down at the foot of the table, we're struggling. We don't need that kind of distraction and negativity. Just the thing with he just never learns, does he? The guy just never learns, and it's just always he can never take the fans' point of view, and the fans get a certain amount of blame in his eyes for things as well. You remember him saying we cost him a sponsorship deal, six figures or whatever. Obviously, like we said before, you've got to, if it's directed at him, that's fine, but don't obviously go to his kid and whatever. That's bang out of order. But what do we do as fans? We've been attending games for over 156 years, home and away. We take one of the best away followings in the league, and we turn up at Hillsborough every week. All we do as fans is try and support that club and put money in. And we buy shirts, we buy programmes, we spend money at the kiosks. So why does he always want to turn it around and blame the fans for everything that goes wrong at the football club, when he's actually got to take some responsibility for himself and what he's put on the club? Don't forget, we only found ourselves in League One because he couldn't sign some fucking papers in time. Excuse my French, but it riles me because it's the fans that get the blame for the misgivings of somebody who's just never learnt a lesson in 8 years. The lesson needs to have been, you needed to surround yourself with people who know how to run a football club. You need to appoint people in certain positions to help you manage and run the football club. And whether that's CEOs or whether that's director of footballs. But when he first came in, Howard Wilkinson offered to help. Who's more Wednesday than Howard Wilkinson?
We had those two, John. Before. We had those two, didn't we? I can't remember his name. We had
Adam Pearson and Glenn Roder, didn't they?
And they were gone within 3 months.
Gone, yeah. They called them biscuit committee, didn't they? But they were gone after 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And it's just like, and that's like going back to 2015, 16-ish, isn't it, Blair? And now we fast forward it, and we're still a club that's no better off than when he found us. But, it's all of a sudden, I don't like this criticism. I've had enough. I'm pulling the plug. I'm not putting any more money in. He had it at the fans forum a few years ago. Fans expressing genuine concern about the direction of where the club was going. Oh, well, it gets up and storms out and says, I'll sell the club, and then changes his mind the day after. I mean, come on. You've just got to... I'm lost for words at times, really, but I just think it's bang out of order what he's doing to the club.
It comes across in a statement saying that he saved the club. Now, I don't know the ins and outs and all that, but I'm sure it was Milan, was it Mandaric that did?
Yeah, they were losing money a lot under Mandaric.
Yeah, so it came in, and I think the statement someone put out that there were statements saying that Sheffield Wednesday are now debt free, XYZ, and all that. All the debts were paid, everything like that. So his running of the club has put us into a $2 million a month deficit. Because if we were debt free, then obviously I would imagine the monthly ingoings and outgoings balance themselves roughly. But then
it's all about do you want to be competitive or do you want to just survive? And obviously we went for the competitive side and not just.
I get that, and that's where he probably will blame the fans, because he says Jordan Rhodes was a fan signing. So
I didn't sign the check there, did I? I wanted him. I didn't sign the check.
No. But you're looking. Fans were like, "Oh, we need this marquee striker who's proven at championship level. We bring him in at 12 million, was it? And obviously it didn't work. But it's all right signing the player if not the management and the team around him. The player you bring him in just don't fit and don't work.
But then,
with Jordan Rhodes,
then to jump on that, Ash, when we loaned him out to Norwich. And Norwich paid like £1 million loan fee and paid his wages. When they got promoted, they said, "Oh, we'll buy him off you now for £3 million." All right, it would have been a severe loss. But at that time, we were knackered. We were going down the abyss anyway. So to take £3 million and get his wages off the bill would have been, to me, it sounds like a no-brainer. You just take the loss. But
that again just points to Chansiri or his advisors, whoever his transfer committee is, and all that, is just not running the club right. And this is where we are now. He's bringing out statements like he has done that is just 99.999% of the fan base is just totally alienated, upset, angered, and just misread the room.
Misread? Jesus Christ.
What do you think, Stevie? Am I wrong, or are we wrong? Are we all on the same sheet? Not this sheet that he's put out, but we're on the same one, aren't we?
You've literally taken the words out of my mouth. The first thing I was going to say was he's not read the room. You know, he's made too many mistakes, and I'm not one for always agreeing with everything that everybody says on here, but I find it very difficult to disagree with things that have been said by both Blair and John, to be honest with you. The sad thing is we're still talking about it and we're still going on about it. And what we're doing now, we're talking about Jordan Rhodes, ironically. We're talking about statements No. We're talking about statements that have been made in fans forums years gone by. And, he's not learned and blah, 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 blah. Let's be right. Let's offer a little bit of balance. Nobody was talking about this 4 months ago, 5 months ago. We will never...
I'm sure there were, Stevie. I know there's a hardcore in there of supporters that have never took to Chansiri or have been very hard-lined in their stadium. In there. There is always
that.
But so 44,500.
And that's the point. Everything I'm trying to offer a balanced argument. I'm not pro Chansiri. I don't advocate the things that he's done at all. What I'm saying is, when we stood there on the 29th of May, none of this mattered. It didn't. The big picture is what we've done since, and nobody will ever know the reality. I don't think of what happened between Moore and Chansiri after Wembley. Nobody will know that. What I will say is that I do believe that if we'd have managed to retain Moore, we'd be better off than we are now. I believe that, and what's the objective this season? The objective this season is to stay in the Championship. You carry all the baggage with you. Football clubs lose money unless you are Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool.
Barcelona. Not a good example.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I've got, but you know what I mean. You know where I'm going.
Elite
Unless you
level.
are in that elite level, you are going to football clubs, and their owners are going to lose money, and that's where we are. Unless you operate in a sustainable model, and there are people in football finance that will probably tell me that teams like Brentford are doing all right, and Brighton have managed to get to a point where they can sell assets. And the problem is you can't adopt that model now and go, right, we've signed Gassama, Masaba, we've signed Bernard, and then all of a sudden we're going to sell them for £40 million. That's not going to happen. £2 million, it's not going to touch the sides. So it's pointless trying to follow that model with the problems that we've got at the moment. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, with Chansiri, I just think the things that he says are quite petulant. Yeah. The things that he says, he's. I actually think the statement on Friday was in response to the protests, the 1867 group, the things that they've said, the groundswell that they were trying to. So I feel like he's to an extent been backed into a corner. And I don't think it was holistic what he's done. I think he's gone, right, if this is where we are, people are pulling my banner down, people are saying this, you're singing about that, you're mobilising against me. If this is how you feel, I think it's knee-jerk. I do. I think what he said in that statement is very much knee-jerk. You bring this, you start here, I'm going to go there. And if you want me to go, I'll tell you what will happen when I go. And I've got this faint sort of hope and wish that now that those protests and those people seem to have gone quiet, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the premise, the rationale behind what they were doing. What I'm saying is, and you talked about this last week, there are better ways of going about it, and there are more productive ways in terms of trying to get a fan base mobilised to try and create change. And throwing tennis balls onto a football pitch was never going to achieve that. Chansiri walks away, Blair's bang on the money. We could be Bradford, we could be worse than Bradford within 3 years' time, and that's the reality, because the bloke puts a shitload of money into the club. We need to find the balance between Chansiri's money and making Chansiri feel happy, and making sure that we can do everything to make this club sustainable. And it's about talking to his better nature and trying to find a way to do that, because as John has pointed out, we've been trying to do that for 6-7 years and it ain't happening. Maybe now we're at a point where I personally feel that Chansiri probably thinks, I've done everything I can to balance the books to the best of my ability after the point deduction, after the relegation. I've got us back up. Now we need to kick on. When, those statements that he made at City Hall about challenging for the playoffs, what he should have been saying is, we'll get together, we'll make the club sustainable for the next 2-3 years in the Championship, and then we'll go from there, because that's the journey that we're on. And he that was the first mistake that he made after the playoffs. The second mistake he made after the playoffs, I don't care what anyone says, was sacking Darren Moore or parting ways with Darren Moore, because Darren Moore, he galvanised the club. We are where we are without Darren Moore now, because we've ended up having to replace him with somebody.
Morale in the dressing room's huge, isn't it? And getting rid of him just destroyed it on it completely.
Which was the point I was trying to get to. Moore's gone. We've got Johnson out on his arse. James has gone. We've released this player, that player, the other player. Those releases were coming, and conversations will have been had with a view to getting people in. I've targeted this player. I've got that person. I'm speaking to that player, and I know where we're going next. The miracle of Hillsborough that people rave about. He came back from Peterborough and overnight brought a psychologist in. Yeah. That wasn't something that had been at the ground at the club all season. He did that pretty much overnight. So imagine having that guy come in and then say, right, we're in Championship now, and we're going to kick on, and we're going to create a mentality, as Blair's just said, of having that team morale, having that ethos, that sort of work ethic, where we're going to say, right, we're going to close quarters, we're going to be hard to beat, we're going to play this pragmatic style of football. We are going to score goals, but we're going to be, or we're going to set up to score goals. It might be slow and progressive at times, but we're going to be frigging hard to beat, and we're going to compete in this Championship. A Darren Moore 11 would have got more than 2 points in this league. I don't care what anyone says.
It doesn't matter, does it? We'll never find out. And Darren Moore's already got 2 points in his first 2 games at Huddersfield. So hey ho,
That's one of my ShatStats, by the way.
Right. Well,
God.
we shall leave the statement. Obviously, read the statement. Everyone's got their own minds up about it. It's not good, and the future looks pretty not bleak, but it's not going in the right direction. And if you believe that Chansiri is better to sell up and he should find a thing, then that's your choice. If not, there you go. We are where we are. It's a great statement, the saying that's been in football for donkeys, and it'll be around for a lot longer. So we've just talked about the statement. We're going to obviously Sheffield Wednesday have had a pretty piss poor start to the season. So for 1 week only, guys, are you ready for this? I'm bringing.
Yay!
ShatStats. So I've tasked each and every one of the panel tonight to bring me their worst Shat stat. So obviously 2 points out of the 27 available is probably the worst stat, but I've challenged the guys to actually beat that. So guys, who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
John, go on then, John. Right, John, hit us all. Entertain us with your Shat stat.
ShatStats. Right. So did a little bit of digging. To be fair, didn't take long, but so over the course of the season, which is now nine league games, 2 other, as they call them, we have a possession stat ratio of. Well, actually, do you want to have a guess what our possession? Our possession is.
You know, I love quizzes.
First 11 games. I'll go clockwise on my screen. So, Stevie.
Go on
then. 38.
38 for Stevie. Blair.
What average for this whole season?
11 games played. What's the percentage stats possession?
25%.
25, and then Ash.
41.
Ooh, I think 39.5. So Ash is probably just about close to it. But what I love about this website is it doesn't.
I mean, it's literally banging middle.
That's all I'm a stack.
High five.
But what I do love about the website is it doesn't just give you the stats; it then gives you a rating. So these are the ratings for Sheffield Wednesday so far. So keeping possession of the ball, weak. Aerial duels, weak. Avoiding individual errors, weak. Defending against the through ball attacks, weak. Finishing scoring chances, very weak. Avoiding offside. Avoiding fouling in dangerous areas, very weak. so all in all, a bit shit, really, isn't it?
A bit weak. John, love it.
He's just won the game. He's won the game with that.
That's brilliant. Right.
I can't beat that.
Stevie, go on, you're up next. Come on.
I was a little bit different. We've done Moore's points. I wanted to have a look at the goals we've conceded. So we've conceded 17 goals in 9 games. If you look at last season, it took us 21 games to concede 17 goals, and that took us to the 10th of December. Now I know what you're saying. 10th of December, it's all right, but that was League One. All right. So what I did is I went back a couple of years and I looked at the 2021 season when we got relegated. To concede 17 goals, it took us 17 games, and that took us to the 8th of December. So in relative terms, the goals conceded were on 8th of December, the last time that we played.
We're 2 months ahead of progress. That's a positive.
Goals conceded, we're 2 months ahead in terms of goal concession. We've lost the bolt onto that. We've lost 7 games already this season in 9. And when we were at this level last time, it took us 16 games to lose this many games, and we got relegated.
hell.
Ooh, that's bleak, isn't it? And players got paid.
Wow. That's that. I'm regretting doing this. I thought we'd be something a little bit different. I'm not like.
Can I do one more? Can I do one more? Can I do one more?
Oh, go on.
Go on. It's shit, this one, but I'm going to do it. Jordan Rhodes has scored 5.
That's literally the name of the segment.
The point of it. Yeah.
Jordan Rhodes has scored 5 goals in 5 games. We've scored 5 goals in 9.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, what do you go
We're
down?
down, aren't we?
We're going down, aren't we? It's a escalator or lift or something. Right, Blair. Right, you've seen the last 2. You've heard the last 2.
I mean, mine aren't as impressive as that, but basically, what it is Juan Delgado has been playing left wing back this season. He's got the same amount of assists as Marvin Johnson this season.
And Liam Palmer, probably.
And
and Dawson.
Hey, come on, Blair. He's a Chilean international. What are you on about?
He's a Chilean international right back, but we're playing left wing back. Oh,
I think. I think you've. Yeah, I don't really. That is crap. So how many appearances? How many minutes? Have you got those stats? Has he played like?
I literally just had it up, but he's played 9 games.
What's that? 800 and something minutes. He hasn't played all. No, he hasn't played 90 minutes every game, has he?
No, but I mean, he got 1 goal against Hull. But in terms of assists, he's averaging 1 cross per game, which I imagine Marv could probably do that from home.
Good, yeah. Well, there you have it. That's been your.
Yay!
ShatStats for this week. One and only, I think. I don't think that'll come out again. Right, guys, look, we've been depressing for over an hour now. So, any other business? Anybody with any other business? No?
Just the good work that the women's supporters group did, and the round of applause for Maddie and Roger or Rouge. I don't know how you pronounce it. But I just thought at least there was one little bit of good what came out of Friday.
Yes, that was mine. I was going to say impeccably witnessed and what was it? Carried out. Round of applause for Maddie Cusack, obviously Sheffield United women's player that lost her life earlier the week, and also big Rog. I think we're going to call because I'm a Rogers, and I'd like to be Rog. So on the 28th minute, absolutely fantastic round of applause as well. And you touched on it there, Blair. I'm not going to give the 2 absolute specimens the time on air, but one thing, like you said, that did come out of Friday night was the absolutely fantastic, and I mean this very sincerely, work that the Sheffield Wednesday Women's Supporters Group and Leah, or Lee, I think her name is, there, who set up a GoFund for Bradley's Foundation GoFundMe page. And I think by the last time I looked just for, it was over 20,000. So absolutely fantastic by all you Wednesdayites, everyone in the football family. Absolutely fantastic. From everyone at the podcast, we can't thank you enough for the effort you've done. And I am sure that it is going to go to brilliant work that they do there at the foundation. So thank you very much on behalf of us, all you ladies over there and gents that are in the supporters group. And I think we're going to leave on a positive there, guys. I think that's it. I think any other business, is there? I think that's it. Steve is going to say something. Go on.
Should we not mention West Brom tomorrow?
Well, it's a guaranteed loss. What's the point?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I knew I'd missed summer. Go on. Sorry, everyone. Like any other business, as in proper. We should have mentioned this earlier, so I do apologise. We're just going to do a quick, and I mean a quick, run through. Ready? West Brom. They beat top of the league Preston 4-0 at the weekend. We're going to lose. It's going to be a shit show. What's your predictions, lads?
3-0.
Pain!
3-0 from Blair to West Brom. Stevie?
3-0.
3-0 again. And John?
Also 3-0.
Oh, sugar me. See, am I the only one who's positive? I'm gonna go for a sneaky 1-0 win for Wednesday as well. Yeah, I'm telling you, you've got to be positive, lads. Come on. Anyway, I'm finishing this show on a positive thing. 1-0 Wednesday. Delgado is going to assist and score just to shut Blair up.
Yeah, he's going to assist himself. He's going to
assist himself. Yeah, but everyone, thank you very much for listening. If you've quite liked what you've listened, please give us subscribe on the YouTube channel, follow, like, all the sort of stuff on social media. It's an absolute pleasure doing this show with these guys and for you. And hopefully next week I'll be speaking to you with 6 points from the 2 games.
Probably be on -6.
That's right. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.